Good morning, this is Sean here with a Jumpstart January video. There's Milo. Coco's in the back. We're on our way to get groomed and beautified. So, what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the government shutdown and financial stability. Now, we all know that we're on day 28 or 29 of the government shutdown. It doesn't seem like there's any sign in sight of it stopping. A lot of people are in emotional crisis because normally the government gets paid on the 1st and the 15th. This government shutdown happened just before Christmas. So we are possibly going on our second and maybe third paycheck, depending on how the cycle went. You know, a lot of us are, you know, they say you're one paycheck away. And when we did our Monday Millionaires, very little of us, a small percentage of us, have $2,000 cash to deal with an emergency. So when, you know, we were talking on Monday, this is real. And sometimes it takes a crisis to find out that you are not in the best shape in your life to shake things up. Unfortunately, that's the way human nature is. You know, when you are working for the government, you think that you are good and golden and you are, you know, not going to be in a position where the average person is. That's why a lot of people take federal jobs for the job security. But truth be told, there's no such thing as job security. So, you know, the idea of, you know, even though having that job, you know, always having other multiple streams of income coming in, having a side hustle, as we would say, is starting to become paramount to a lot of people. And I can tell you from my own experience, my financial crisis was during the mortgage crisis. The mortgage crisis that ended up with the airline crisis and the automobile crisis. In our industry, we were halted. It was almost immediate. And then we had the foreclosure moratorium. And so that really put my family in a financial tailspin. And I will say that happened 2008. Here it is, 2019. I would say 2 years ago is where we really came up from that. But from that crisis came the acknowledgement that we needed to manage our money better. And neither, you know, we don't get a paycheck, a regular paycheck. So, you know, I thought we were good, but it took that situation where we really needed to tighten up some things. And so, you know, I'm all about teachable moments. I'm hoping that people who are affected by this crisis, that it will be for them a wake-up call, for them to start saving money for a crisis. You know, I'm still working on it too. You know, they say you should have 3 to 6 months of your income saved up for a crisis, even if it's a medical crisis. I'm still working on that myself. And I know it's hard, but when I'm watching the Dave Ramsey show and the Chris Hogan show, I see that there are hundreds of people that are getting it done. And my thing is, if they can do it, I can do it, you can do it, we can do it. There is going to be a lot of sacrifices that have to be made on the front end, but on the back end, you know, being able to take care of your family financially, you know, people are really, really worried. And we all know that financial burdens is the #1 killer of relationships. People start to become unhinged. It can cause a lot of people sleepless nights, ulcers, lots of anxiety, panic attacks. That is not a good quality of life. And so when I was on my financial journey, I wanted to take people with me. Well, a lot of people didn't want to go, you know, and that's okay, because everybody has their journey. But I do believe in talking about money now, which is what we never did. You know, we have parties, you know, I can talk about money and, you know, making changes just as quickly as I can talk about celebrities, because money impacts me far more than celebrities, you know. So even just having the conversation, which growing up never had money conversations. So, you know, I wanted to break that legacy for my kids. You know, we are going to talk about money. We're going to talk about what money is, what money does, how you should treat money, putting perspective of money, what your value of money should be towards, and, you know, being financially smart. And it's an ever-growing, ongoing process. So for me, it was the mortgage crisis. And unfortunately, like I said, you know, it takes a crisis for people to wake up. You know, that person who never considered their diet to be a problem, you know, will give up a hamburger cold turkey when they have a heart attack. You know, so it's human nature. So I don't want a crisis. My thing is, I don't want my friends and family to suffer through a crisis, to know that we need to get smart with our money, that we need to not have major credit card debt, because it's not doing anything for us for our money. We are wasting so much money on credit card debts, on car payments, and for some of us living in a house that it really is just financially crippling as well. But for most of us, we spend a lot of our money. We don't even know where our money goes. That's why it's important to have a budget. You know, that's why it's important to mindfully save. And it's important to make sure that you're not spending your money on things that really don't serve you well in the long term. So it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight, and I really feel bad for a lot of the government workers, because it's getting to be a hardship now. And of course, you know, this is you know, the crisis happened right before the holidays, and most people spend their money, you know, for Christmas, and now they got these credit card debts that they were planning on paying off or using their tax refund, which I hear that people are going to be able to do. But now you can't use your tax refund because you've still got to keep the lights on and take care of your family, and we got to eat and all that. And for people who have never, ever, 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 ever had a situation where they were laid off per se, this is something that a lot of people will be it'd be a hard pill to swallow, especially those who are told that they have to go to work and they're not going to get paid. Now, they're going to get paid. All that will be backdated. They will get their money, you know, but they're just not working with their money now. And nobody got time for that. No one's got time for that, not getting paid, you know. So I just hope that for some people, they'll say, you know what, we need to do things differently. Like, okay, here it is, January. You know, here it is with something to do something different. You can take your calendar for the whole year and put down all the birthdays that are coming up, the open houses and graduations that are coming up. Christmas is always on the 25th. And you can start little by little putting away money aside for these events instead of, oh, I'll just wait in 3 weeks or 2 weeks beforehand, I'm just going to go and buy stuff. And then realize, oh, well, I don't have enough money, so I'm going to use my credit card. You know, most of us are not paying it off through the end of the month without interest. But you could do things differently. You know, my anniversary is in February and my birthday is in March. So I'm already putting money aside. I have a number budget and I'm putting money aside of what we're going to do. So, you know, it's things like that, being mindful with your money. And if you can plan out your month and plan out with an expectation of this is what I plan to do, you'll be able to handle your money better. That is what I have learned from doing this for, let me see, started out in 2007, you know, 12 years, and it works. So I hope that's a good tip. If you have money tips, please put them down in the comments. I'm always up for getting tips and ideas to better handle my money. A lot of people use the envelope method. It's a good way to get things started, you know, where you put a certain amount of money in an envelope, and this is all I'm going to spend for gas, this is all I'm going to spend for groceries, and when you're out, you're out. And, you know, it takes a little troubleshooting. I would even suggest go back 3 months on your bank statements. Just print them out, and then, you know, very low tech, in a column, or if you want to use a spreadsheet, label gas, food, electricity, and I would even, in food, I would deviate food meaning groceries and food meaning going out to eat, and go line by line on your bank statement and put it in a category. Okay, I pay utilities, okay, this. And then you can see in a snapshot, just numbers, where your money is going. Now that doesn't even count if you use cash, but it will give you an idea like, oh my God, I spent $600 on food, and out of that, half of that was going out to eat. We can cut that down. See what I'm saying? So you can start looking at your money and seeing where it's going, and then you can decide to adjust it, because there are some things that can be adjusted. You can't adjust your mortgage, you can't necessarily adjust your water bill, but you can adjust how often you go out to eat, or how often you know, spend money on certain things. Gas may not be something you can change, but you can decide, okay, well, now I know how much money I'm actually spending on gas. Because people on budgets know how much they spend money on certain things. They know it. But if you don't know how much money you spend on gas, then that probably means you need to be on a budget. So that's all I got for now. We are here at Petco, going to get beautified. Take care of yourself and each other, and I will talk to you later. Bye.